So when we speak about some of the best legal markets for the good herb, you think of California as being right up there. But in one of the states that has been legal for so long, why is the black market still booming while legal businesses suffer? Well, it's simple. Oversaturation, overtaxation, too much red tape. And to top it all off, a couple months back we got news that California was raising taxes once again to almost 25% for weed. Now folks in the industry cried out, and now those very same taxes are being paused for 5 years.
It will now cost you a lot more to purchase marijuana in our state. A tax increase on pot that was passed in 2022 went into effect yesterday. KTLA's Omar Lewis live now in West Hollywood with the details on that. Omar, good morning.
Good morning, Jessica. That's right. A trip to the dispensary is costing customers more money because of a statewide tax hike that went into effect yesterday on July 1st. And here in West Hollywood, a local rebate expired yesterday on that same day, driving costs even higher in this community. It's a high that some customers and businesses say is hitting them where it hurts most, their wallets, of course. We could take you to the video and tell you that California's legal cannabis market just got more expensive. Starting July 1st, the state's excise tax on marijuana products rose from 15% to 19%. That's a jump authorized by Assembly Bill 195. That 2022 law eliminated the cultivation tax on growers, but gave state regulators the power to raise the excise rate to recover lost revenue there. Here in West Hollywood, the impact is even sharper. That's because the city's 2% sales tax rebate for licensed cannabis businesses expired on the same day. That rebate also used to help local businesses offset tax costs. Without it, dispensaries are left to absorb more of the tax burden or pass it along to shoppers. According to the local publication WeHo Online, at the Artistry Dispensary here, a $100 purchase on July 1st rang up to $142.49, thanks to nearly $43 in combined local and state taxes. Operators and employees say these rising costs could have serious consequences, driving customers to the black market for cheaper prices and potentially crippling businesses already running on tight budgets.
Now this is actually a story that we covered not too long ago, just a few months back when the news first broke. As of July the 1st, that new tax hike was actually meant to go into place, and it did. But amid a lot of the pushback from local businesses, consumers, and the like, the governor actually signed a bill to roll that tax hike back. But according to this, it's not a permanent rollback, it's just a temporary rollback, because Governor Newsom down in California signed a bill to put a pause on these recently enacted tax hikes on the good herb.
And Governor Newsom also signed a bill that eliminates a 25% tax hike on California's legal cannabis industry. The governor says he's working to ensure the long-term success of the cannabis market, which is currently the largest in the world. The bill also sets the state's excise tax rate at 15% until 2028. It comes amid efforts to crack down on illegal cannabis sales by reducing the burden of legal businesses.
Now that is something that's really smart, because think of it guys, California is one of the biggest markets in the entire world. And no matter what you may think about California, they are pretty solid. And that can be seen right here in California's global rank. California is literally the world's 4th largest economy as of 2025, surpassing Japan. In terms of ranking, we have the United States as a whole, China as a whole, Germany as a whole, and then California, and then Japan. So California is massive, its economic power is massive. The cannabis industry over there is also massive, but it's suffering. And why is that? It's because of those high taxes and the red tape. So to see now that Governor Newsom is finally rolling back some of these tax hikes so that the legal market can continue to grow, consumers can access safe products, and our local communities can see the benefits, I think that that's a good thing. Now, despite Governor Newsom signing this bill to actually roll back that tax hike, there are some folks in the industry who are concerned that some of those taxes which go to certain programs will no longer be accessed, and those programs will now become a problem. Have a look.
A big win for California's cannabis industry. Here's what we mean. Governor Newsom just signed a bill that cancels a planned 25% tax hike on legal pot.
Now, critics warn without that extra revenue, key state programs could suffer.
Let's dive into this. CBS 13's Brady Halbach in studio with what it means for growers and state programs, Brady.
Yeah, that's right, guys. This bill, now signed into law, will reduce the planned 25% tax hike to just 15% for the cannabis industry through 2028. Now, the goal is to help licensed cannabis growers and sellers survive so they can better compete with the illegal market. Supporters say that this will help protect jobs and keep smaller pot shops open, while also ensuring that customers have access to safe and regulated products. At the same time, the state says that it is cracking down on illegal growers with a special task force already destroying nearly $900 million worth of illegal cannabis since 2022. But critics say that the tax cut will strip 10% of the original funding for key programs that depend on cannabis revenue. Dr. Lynn Silver with the Public Health Institute says it'll slash money for child care, youth substance abuse prevention, and environmental programs. It also comes at a time where she says federal funding is at an all-time low.
Biggest single use of these taxes is to fund child care slots for foster kids, emergency child care, and low-income families. So all of those activities are going to be significantly reduced by this.
California's cannabis market helps fund schools and public programs. State leaders believe that this tax cut will help the cannabis industry continue to thrive, so that money will continue to fund some of those programs, guys.
Now that's always a topic of contention, guys. What are the taxes from the good herb being used for? For instance, here in Colorado, a lot of folks expect those taxes to be used to fix the roads, but the roads here are absolutely horrendous. So what are the taxes really being used for? Where are they going? And that's why you guys always got to follow the money. Now what I found is that they use these taxes for what always sounds to be noble programs, helping the kids, social justice, equity programs, all types of things. But when we really think about it, are we seeing those benefits that we are expecting? A lot of the times the answer is simple, it's a no. One of the points that they raised in that clip is that they're doing this to combat the illegal market. The illicit or black market is booming over in California. And if I mentioned to you guys already that the legal market is the biggest in the world, just imagine how big the illegal market is, especially considering the fact that the illegal market in California is significantly larger than its legal market, with illicit sales accounting for around 60% of total consumption in California. So it's absolutely mind-blowing how large the illicit market is in California, especially considering the fact that Cali has one of the biggest legal markets in the entire world. So if that's the case, why is the illegal market booming while legal businesses literally suffer? Well, the answer is simple: excessive taxes.
Tax on cannabis that's going down in California.
Governor Newsom signed a bill into law today. It's taking the cannabis tax down from 19% to 15%.
Rob Nesbitt joins us now live from the newsroom with a little reaction from the dispensaries. Hi, Rob.
Vicki and Catherine, the tax on cannabis was increased on July 1st, and sellers in the Bay Area noticed a difference in spending this summer. They are calling today's action by Governor Newsom a small win.
It's overregulated, it's overtaxed. Both of those things lead to higher prices to consumers.
When the California cannabis tax increased by 25% in July, Eric Pearson noticed a difference in revenue. The CEO of Spark operates 7 dispensaries in the Bay Area.
The cannabis economy, when you talk to folks about the normal economy, is people are struggling, right? And so anytime we can, reduce taxes and reduce the cost to consumer, the better off we are.
He says the tax increase caused buyers to go elsewhere for cannabis products. Vice President of Policy for the California Cannabis Industry Association, Zoe Schreiber, says about 60% of cannabis consumers in California buy from illegal sources.
A competition with a totally non-taxed market versus a market that is working to bring regulated, age-gated product to adult use consumers.
Now guys, this is not rocket science. Excessive taxes, excessive regulation, all these things are not necessarily a good thing. Now don't get me wrong, not all regulation is bad. Age gating, testing, ID requirements, those things are good. But when you decimate the industry by jacking up prices and increasing taxes, that's not a good thing. And that's something that California is currently grappling with, because a lot of consumers know if the products at the dispo are too high because of those taxes, the prices are too high because of those taxes and regulations, I'm just gonna hit up Jim down the street. Screw the dispo. Now, there is a veteran group down in California pushing for big things when it comes to the good herb, but also mushrooms. And I do want to show you guys a little bit more about that, as well as what's happening down in California in a bit. But before we do, just a quick reminder, if you're getting value from this video, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us further, join the ICANN VIP Bean Club, or just buy us a cup of coffee. And if you happen to be a home gardener, try the ICANN Organics, use the code LEGAL, it works on the bundle and the beans. And we recently dropped some exclusive FAMs, so check those out because they won't be around too long.
There might be a lot of preconceived notions about getting into the cannabis business in California, but it probably isn't whatever your college self imagined it would be. We have heard complaints from people in the industry who say they have been totally overshadowed by the black market. Gripes about high cost, lots of regulation. But some cannabis owners might be catching a break. Governor Gavin Newsom signed AB 564 this week, which prevents taxes on the cannabis industry from getting even higher. It sets the state's cannabis excise tax at 15% until 2028. It was supposed to go up to 19%. Some cannabis store owners and advocates are now celebrating that. Amanda Harry talked with the dispensary owner about what the temporary reversal means for legally operating businesses.
So combating the black market is a big thing in California, especially considering the fact that so many legal tax dollars are being funneled away from the industry simply because of that black market. Now, the black market has serviced the industry for years with fantastic prices, no taxes, and also no need to have your name on a registry if you're a medical patient. And we have seen instances where certain states have legalized, but folks still drive out of state simply because the prices are so much better. So what makes California any different? It's a legal state, but if the black market prices are better, people are just going to hit up the black market. And I've got a perfect example to show you guys when it comes to that. But before we do, let's hear what people in Cali have to say about the tax hike being rolled back.
Operator of Cannabis Buyers Club Berkeley, Andre Special, is feeling relieved.
Super thankful that the governor heard the message.
Special wants safe, tested, and regulated marijuana to be easy for everyone to access. That's why she's poured her heart and soul into CBCB. Both her children even work at the business.
Food, fuel, fiber, fun, and medicine. And it really is such an important plant that can do so many things to help. And you know, once I started becoming an activist and I saw the people that really their lives were changing with this plant, we have people that have been coming here since they were children with epilepsy.
It's existed since 1996. She's operated it since 2007. She knows the difference THC and CBD can make in people's lives. That's why consumers, advocacy groups, and operators were reaching out to Governor Gavin Newsom's office, saying a planned cannabis excise tax bump from 15% to 19% was too much. That's in addition to the state sales tax and a local tax.
So as of July 1st, the tax in Berkeley was 34.25%. It's 30% tax, and you know, we're going in the right direction. It's very difficult for us to compete.
This week, the governor announced the tax bump would be pushed back. Special says the slight break will help them compete with the illegal businesses that bill themselves as hemp or smoke shops.
Consumers can't really tell the difference between our shop and their shop, yet there's no taxes, there's no testing. They're not really sure exactly what product you might leave the store with.
And that right there is a pretty interesting point, guys. Traditionally, you guys will think of the black market operators as being the guy down the street or the dude with the backpack who pulls up in the car. But the truth is, nowadays, it's a lot of illegal operators operating out of the smoke shops, the gas stations, and convenience stores. And what they're doing is not testing their products, they're not paying the required taxes, they're also not regulated at all. So in that sense, some of the consumers may not actually know what they're getting. And in a situation where you're expecting to get good natural herb, but instead you get some sort of Delta 8 synthetic derivative and end up not feeling too good about yourself, that's a problem. Now, when the prices are too high and the taxes are out of control, all people are going to do are find alternative sources to get their medicine. And that's exactly what's happening in another legal state in Ohio, as a lot of folks just go over to Michigan to get their grades. And what's the difference of the high grade in Ohio versus Michigan? It's just the price.
One day into Ohio's recreational weed sales, and some of you aren't happy with the kind of high you're getting in Ohio.
The difference between 10 miles and 10 miles south into Ohio compared to 10 miles north in Michigan is leaps and bounds right now.
Harrison Carter is an owner and operator of not only NAR Cannabis in Monroe, Michigan, but he's got a shop in Columbus too, and was one of the few allowed to sell recreational weed on Tuesday. He says Ohio buyers should get ready for some sticker shock.
That's not going to change tomorrow either, right? That's going to take 2, 3, 4 years for infrastructure and the supply to kind of pick up to meet the demand in Ohio.
Which Carter says leads to a big price gap. Let's give you an example. In Ohio, a legal customer can buy 1 ounce of dried cannabis. In Michigan, Carter says the average price is $89 per ounce. But in Ohio,
roughly 1 ounce of dried flower in Ohio for anywhere between $250 to $300.
Nearly 3 times the price. How about edibles?
A 200 milligram edible pack here in Michigan, we retail for anywhere between $4 and $8. 100 milligrams or so in the Ohio market, those are going to be in the $30 to $40 price range.
Carter says in Michigan you can buy up to 10 packs with 200 milligrams in each. But in Ohio, those same 10 packs can only contain up to 1,100 milligrams max in all. Meaning in Ohio, you get half the volume for 10 times the price. Still, some customers are not concerned. Like Stephen Balla III, a Toledo native who has shopped at NAR for over 2 years.
People in Ohio, just be patient. I keep using that word, just keep being patient. And the drive here isn't that long, and eventually things will happen to where everybody can get their product at basic prices.
So that right there is a perfect example, guys, and I cannot explain it any better. You guys saw the massive difference in prices when you just crossed the state just 10 miles away. Now over in California, there's also a veteran group pushing for the governor to sign a bill expediting the good herb and psychedelics research, and that's a good thing. The more people that actually come together and implore these lawmakers to not only conduct research into the good herb, but also reduce taxes, do things to make the industry a whole lot better and able to compete with the black market. I think that that's really important because a lot of these folks see that legal markets are suffering. And why is that? It's down to the red tape, the bureaucracy, the oversaturation, and most importantly, the overtaxation. So drop in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about everything that we discussed in today's video. Do you guys think that California's market is one of the best in the world? Do you guys think that the black market booming is a result of the high taxes? And what do you guys think about California's Governor Gavin Newsom signing that bill to roll back that tax hike and pause it for 5 years? Drop in the comments down below and let me know. Now I know a lot of you guys are home gardeners and you may have missed this, but recently we broke down the top 5 states when it comes to home grow laws. So if you haven't seen that, check it out because it's coming up right now.